Son part of IT. Just like bowling at pike, all stripes, don't gutter. Attracted to the mind, but I like mine's hooder. She gotta have a pretty face too, no butter. I wonder how she age. Look at her mother. My favorite color's green, but I'll settle for blue. Check until I can't see, I'm only 5'2". Who the fuck made this shit on that track? Meaning if I'm on it, yes, this shit slap.
Hello, good afternoon. Apologies. I had changed my lives around a few times. It's happened a few times this week, so apologies. We are here to go over Housewives of Beverly Hills. We have James from Watch Your Mouth Reviews with us with the fresh cut. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You look good. You look good.
Thank you.
We're going to get into this episode, which I was telling James, this wasn't really like an episode. It was genuinely a continuation of the end of an episode.
Right. That lasted way too long. Irritated me to my extreme. I was annoyed with everyone equally.
He said equally.
Equally. I was annoyed. When I tell you I was annoyed with Erica, I was annoyed with Denise, I was annoyed with Kyle, I was annoyed with Anne-Marie, I was annoyed with Sutton, I was annoyed with Dorit. Or Doris, excuse me, Doris. Doris, y'all. It is Doris. And I also was extremely annoyed with Faye over there in the corner.
I don't know.
The only person who didn't annoy me was Camille because she didn't say anything the entire time.
That's because Camille was us watching.
Yeah.
Her facial expressions. I have the worst allergies, so if I sneeze randomly, I am so sorry. My eyes itching and shit. Anywho. Let's get into it because I think you pretty much described it. I was annoyed with the whole cast at one point. So they come back to this dinner and they're pretty much having a conversation about Kyle's drinking and all the information that she is lying about, keeping from people, all of that. Can we see Kyle freak out? You know, I didn't want to feel depressed. Girl, alcohol has been a depressant since its inception. And I just want everyone to understand that alcohol may be like, oh, okay, I have fun when I'm out and stuff, but it is a depressant. I'm an example of that. Everyone can attest. I'm a happy drunk. I just want to dance, have fun. I won't do too much. But that just because you get happy when you're drunk or aren't that person fighting everybody at the club when you're drunk does not mean that alcohol is not a depressant. So even though Kyle's full of shit, I get that, but it's like, you have all the money in the world. If you don't want to feel depressed, I'm pretty sure you could do a lot fucking more than just stop drinking. Therapist? Look at Erica.
Right.
I mean, didn't make any sense. So, you know, Sutton then apologizes to Kyle, but I thought this was the pettiest thing that she could have done and what makes her a great housewife. She apologized to Kyle for not just what she did to Kyle, but she gave the apology that Kyle wouldn't give either for the situation. I said, Sutton, in the words of James, that foot has not left the neck. Sutton always runs out of events crying and freaking out. That's what the whole argument was about with Sutton and Kyle. So now she's not crying and running out of an event the way that you just braided her for doing. Now she's standing here toe-to-toe with you, standing up for herself, and you can't take it, Kyle.
Go figure.
And there's clips going around because Kyle made some comments throughout the episode that we're going to get into. Kyle is just not accountable. But the cast then weirdly moves on to try and move past it, and they discuss men and romance, which was odd. I get.
I don't understand.
Subject, but
I didn't understand how the two correlated. It was like, how did we get to this conversation?
They just jumped into it. It was an awkward dinner. It did look like that dinner was genuinely fucking awkward. So people probably started to forget the camera was there and just didn't want to deal with it. So we did. He knows.
Yes, I know exactly where this is going.
The next thing we see is Denise. And
y'all want James's theater?
Go ahead, James. We need that. We go into the theater. We love a good show.
Let me do. Hold on. So, Erica, you know what you did to me, right? No, Denise, I have no idea. What are you talking about? Erica, you know you are a bitch to me. You know what I'm talking about. I seriously have no freaking idea what you're talking about. Have I said some harsh things? Absolutely. But I really don't know what's going on right now. Are you okay? Don't do that. Don't do that to me, Erica. Don't do that. Because you know damn well what you did.
Tears.
What's going on? What's going on? Is she okay? And scene. But I tell you, I don't know what the fuck Denise was on.
I'm in
I
tears.
don't know. I don't know what Denise was on. But I was like, Doris, I want some. Whatever it was. She was out of her mind. I don't know if she was drunk. I don't know if she was high. I don't know what the hell happened with Denise. But that shit was crazy. And I laughed until I cried. She was slurring the words. She couldn't get. We don't know what she. I knew what she was talking about even before she explained it. I knew what she was talking about.
So
But
for those who don't know, the best way we can explain it is when Denise Richards was on the show, she had maybe 3 episodes of positivity. And I'm so sorry. I have a cold and my allergies are going. I keep wanting to sneeze. So if I go off camera, it's because I have this thing. I don't want to sneeze on camera. But basically, Denise doesn't like the treatment of her in the group. They questioned her marriage. They tried to make her kind of seem like a shady nymphomaniac.
not only that, they try to make her husband out to be abusive, which he had ways that were questionable. I'm not gonna front. Like there was things that were questionable. But to allege abuse like that was kind of like just based on how treated y'all. I can't really say that that's what he did with Denise. Now, catch 22. If y'all were really that concerned, why did none of y'all pull her off camera and ask her what's going on? Why were y'all always trying to make it seemed like every single last one of them, Lisa Rinna, Erica, Doris, and Kyle, were trying to make moments out of the situation with her and her husband when he would come around because they were always questioning, why is he here? Why can't she do anything on her own? Why is he always has to drive her everywhere?
And that, I didn't see. That's the thing for those who don't understand. The people who questioned Denise on what was going on with her husband and why she was there are all now separated, or divorced, or with circumstantial.
I was going to say, yeah.
Including Lisa Rinna. There's been rumors about that shit for decades, though. But I'm that person. My husband usually goes with me everywhere. I will go places without him, but it's usually to see people like James or people I've known prior to him. But once you've married, anybody you meet while you're with your spouse, I don't blame her for wanting to take them around him with her. Look at how these heifers act. But Denise just did not communicate it well. I don't care what nobody says. Okay, y'all know on my channel, it's a recap, but it's mostly me talking shit. That lady was high on something.
She was on, yeah.
Or we got to see her. There's a lot of celebrities mixing their prescription medications with alcohol, and it causes people to also behave that way. But I don't know what medication.
I was gonna say that's a very.
But she was definitely on an upper.
She was on something. I don't know what it was. I cannot. But when Denise opened that mouth at that table, and she said, "Erica, you were really mean to me, and you know what you did. Thank you. You know what you did."
I feel like something was kicking in when she tried to talk. I used to party back in the day. So if you're on maybe like Molly, a E-pill,
I can't even say.
I don't know what there is outside of that would make sense.
Because everyone was saying she was like, when you watch the after show, everyone said she was drunk. That's not drunk to me.
That was more than drunk.
That was more than drunk.
Even
that
when
was
people
like,
are trashed,
yeah,
I feel like they could still get a sentence out. She was talking slow. Something was impairing her cognitive ability.
Right.
Like,
And it was like, I don't know, y'all. That wasn't drunk to me. Like, I can't say that lady was drunk. That shit looked like it was an like immobility of a whole bunch of shit. We talking maybe alcohol, but something else. And I don't give a fuck if it was cough syrup. But when she tilted her head like this, and all you saw was the big ass lips, and
even the chefs in the background said, "Dude," they caught the chefs off camera. Denise Richards is fucked up. I was weak. I was
she
in.
was. It was
like she
it
was.
was like, Denise, what the fuck?
Let's
And I
remember
hate
too, she was married to Charlie Sheen. So now I'm like, she could know about some shit that the rest of us just ain't even like.
she
aware.
could. No, she could. She could
But
absolutely she could. But nope. Nope.
Anywho, moving it along. The next weird thing we get from Denise, because Denise she weirded out. She got the cold queen, the ice queen, Erica Jane. Miss, I don't have empathy, anything. She was able to read that situation and understand, I'm just going to apologize. And yeah. So like that was Erica. And I genuinely can't blame her. That's the one time I was like, good job, Erica. Because the state that Denise was in, I don't like people who argue with people or do anything that could be
right. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Someone's under the influence. Now, if she was
I get what you're
sober,
saying.
different. But with her being under the influence, Erica did the right thing, in my opinion. Some people believe, fuck that, go off on her. But I mean,
no, I was one of those people. Fuck all that. Yeah, Denise, slur them words, say whatever the fuck you got to say, and confuse the fuck out of her. I do not care at this point because I don't like
it was
Erica,
funny as hell to watch.
You know, I don't like. But Denise, where Denise annoyed me at is because I wanted her to get that out, but I wish she wasn't under the influence of whatever she was under because she had a valid reason to go after Erica.
She did. She
had a very valid reason to go after Erica. So I was really upset at her because, and that's why I was annoyed with her because it was like, you have a valid point. Mm-hmm. Why would you come to this party in that state of mind? And mess up your opportunity to really, because let me tell y'all something. Denise could read these ladies for filth if she wanted to.
She can, if she really wanted
to. If y'all watched her Denise's first and second season, Denise went off on a couple of people. She didn't care and didn't give a goddamn about how these ladies felt.
That's so something has changed with her.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell am I looking at right now?
When it all comes down to it, though, like I think the true Beverly Hills fans know, we're gonna blame Rinna. I don't care if she's there. I don't care if she's not there. It's still Rinna's fault because she came on as Lisa Rinna's good friend. How could you bring your friend into the world
and
of
then
reality
just abandon
TV?
Her?
Lie, backstab,
right? Like it was like, damn, woman, you really ain't got no allegiance to your friends because there's no way I'm inviting you on a show with me, and then at the moment of any vulnerability that these women have with you, where they looking at your situation and trying to exploit you, that I'm just going to join in the line with them and try to exploit you too. That is so messed up. And yeah, I never saw it. I never saw it for Lisa Rinna, but it was really that moment that said, okay, she has no redeeming qualities. I do not care. She can donate $1 million to a whole organization, and I wouldn't give two shits in the fuck because I know that that's going to come
with money anyway, probably. But I mean, Lisa Rinna does shit with QVC, reality TV. A lot of the stuff she's invited to.
You don't think she has the? You don't think she has These Are Our Lives money?
Has not done a movie that is like box office worthy or something.
No, she did soap. She was a soap opera actress. I remember her on Days.
She was, but she tried at one point. She did have some little raggedy movies that she did, like way back in, I would say the very.
No, we're not saying, y'all. We're not saying she's no Eileen. Because let me tell you something. There's a difference. A huge difference between Lisa Rinna and Eileen was that
Lisa Rinna is like kind of like how there's Love and Hip Hop celebrities and Zeus celebrities compared to like the actual people. She's that, but for soap operas and acting. It's an
Oh, I didn't
accurate.
know where you was going with that.
That's what she is. So when she's getting invited to all these types of events and stuff, we don't usually
Right.
see like soap opera actresses and actors and shit just, out at the most elite events. Some of them, like Eileen, status darling, but the Lisa Rinnas, nah. Most of the time that Lisa Rinna's getting invited somewhere is because Harry Hamlin is an amazing actor and then some. We can't take that away, but people like him, not her. And I hope she learns that soon. Anywho, the Denise saga comes to an end because Denise finally leaves. She puts on her coat that she came in with, correct? Now, at first, I was like, listen, Doris, aka Dorit, but her real name is Doris in my heart. Doris pointed out something good, though. Them bougie people, they're materialistics, they're going to notice. She's like, baby, your jacket is upside down. And Denise is looking at her like, bitch, don't try me on the way out the door. And I'm just like, I was watching the TV like this. Like, is this really happening?
It was like, damn, Denise, come on now.
This was your chance, girl.
Like, damn, like Denise. I need Denise to have a do-over because Denise, I know you didn't just come on this camera, whatever state of mind you was in under the influence, and did this shit like this. Really? For real, Denise? Damn, Denise, this is why I say you annoyed me because you disappointed me. As soon as I heard you was coming back, I said, oh, this is gonna be good. She's gonna give us what we need.
Nope.
And then Camille. Hold on, let me put this camera. Camille. Out of all the moments for you to be silent, this was not one of them, sweetie.
Camille usually speaks too.
Camille, where was your mouth? And I needed season 2, Camille. Where was she at? Where was season 2, Camille, when you was leaving Kelsey? Where is that Camille at? Because you got them girls together. I mean, you was backhanded. I'm gonna say that. But that shit was juicy. Where is that Camille at?
Camille was incredibly quiet. And I think a lot of people were looking forward to her holding Kyle accountable because she's one of few who has held Kyle accountable.
No, she was one of those when she was the friend of the show. Got on that reunion and read all them heifers, including Denise, when she told Denise, yeah, I took Kelsey's money because I earned the shit. Now, that's what she told Denise, because Denise said, I didn't get alimony from Charles. She said, Camille said, well, that's your fault. The hell you gonna get mad at me because I took the alimony? Because that makes sense. So I would have took it.
Camille
really
is silent. Maybe she didn't want to. I don't know what it is.
Ever since she's been married to the David Meyer dude,
she's peaceful.
Peaceful as hell. I'm happy for her. I am, but there's a part of me that misses that whole Camille. I'm sorry, y'all. There's a difference between Camille Grammer and Camille Meyer. She will always be a Camille Grammer to me.
Lord. So moving it along into there, I can't believe I'm looking at my notes and we're still on this dinner, but it was most of the episode.
Yeah.
So you see Kyle and Doris talking, and Doris she tells her of what Sutton said, which happened light years ago. When I'm talking light years ago, a whole previous episode. Sutton, when she came to the dinner table, they were like, where's Kyle? And Sutton said, and not quietly, probably somewhere being in denial about something. Everybody looked. It was uncomfortable. Doris decides after the dinner has ended, the dinner where everybody's already confronted shit, she waits till after the dinner ends to go be the catty fake bitch that she is and go wait to get Kyle alone and be like, did you hear Sutton say that you were in denial? Girl, and you see how the accent changed when she said that to Kyle? Doris, when she gossips, she does so in her Connecticut accent. When she's dealing with PK, she does so with a really bad British accent.
Yes. And it's like...
Then it changes depending on where she is and who she's
with. It's like, I don't understand. Like, why is it so broken? Why is it so broken? Why, when you get around people and the element of conversation is different amongst people, your accent just goes completely in 7 different directions? I have never in my life seen somebody have 7 different elements of conversation with people. And every moment the accent is different.
It doesn't make sense. But
No.
her messy ass in whatever accent, tells that to Kyle. And it was, I just feel like they told her too late. So then it comes up. And, Sutton made a point about Kyle. She was like, Kyle, in her confessional, she likes being everybody else shit, basically what we've been saying, but she doesn't like to talk about what's going on in her life. And that's kind of, people don't like that. You definitely, especially on a reality show, want to discuss what you can. We understand some of it to be private, but shit that's obvious and you keep it from people is annoying. So, anywho, Kyle says that, and this is something I see this going around for all the Bravo fans. Kyle says that if someone was having a hard time, that she would not act the way that Sutton acted. But then all in the next sentence, she attacked Sutton's health issues, saying she doesn't eat or something with her. She has an esophageal problem, which is common in a lot of people who are older. I had a surgery on my esophagus for the same thing that Sutton is complaining about. And to get to that surgery, you have to first be diagnosed with GERD. Then they're going to want to do an endoscopy. Then they're going to want to do all this stuff before they actually know or refer you to that. So I'm looking at them and I'm like, why are you guys like bringing up her health issues? Like, yeah, she's saying shit, but she's not, doing that. Sutton responds to Kyle. It says, you already lost 2 sisters. Do you want to lose a third? I said, oh, shit. Like, Sutton, she's not your sister, baby. She's never been a good friend to you. But I'm a firm believer, no matter how much I love Sutton, I just don't think you should ever bring up people's family.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Sutton, but that was low.
So I said, Sutton, you were wrong for that.
You were very wrong
for that. You were wrong for that. Like, I'm sorry, y'all. I have to hold my favorite housewife accountable.
You have to.
She was absolutely 110% wrong.
Yeah. I don't know why Sutton.
It was in bad taste.
No, don't do that with your friends.
Yeah,
never talk about
I'm gonna say, okay, here's the thing. Now, Sutton, if you're watching, hey girl, but if you're watching, don't do that again.
Right.
Don't do that again. Please don't do that, because you're better than that.
All of these casts,
even though, hold on, even though between you and I, Sutton, I don't give a fuck about you saying that in real life. I don't give a fuck about that because it's true. I don't care. But don't listen. Just don't do it again. Okay. Just don't do it again. Okay. Thank you.
I think when your friends act funny because new people come around or depending on who they are, when your friends act funny, I say leave them right where they are. I stand by what I say. Sutton, it's a low blow. Never bring up family or children with people. However, I get where you're coming from. Kyle has never been your friend. And if you accepted that seasons ago, when she didn't give a fuck about your miscarriage, then you probably wouldn't even be in the situation because you know to keep that heifer at an arm's length. Anywho, next thing we see is, they talk about how Kathy called Sutton and was upset that Sutton did not take sides in the press. And she basically yelled at Sutton about that. Kyle tried to bring that up like, see, Kyle, baby, nobody has ever doubted that Kathy Hilton is like not yelling at people. We understand no matter how rich you are, you probably gonna holler at somebody if they piss you off. We get that. However, it is weird that you allowed Lisa Rinna, who's not even, I can't even say that's Kyle's friend. You allowed her to have such a voice and to out your sister, all this extra stuff. You're supposed to defend your family. Kyle keeps trying to find reasons to prove to us, like, see, how I feel about Kathy is okay. I have a reason to feel this way, and we don't care. That's y'all family business.
Here's my thing.
The thing is, we just want for you to show some loyalty to someone.
Right.
We've never seen Kyle show loyalty to anybody on this show outside of her fucking kids. Let's keep it real.
No, and then you bring up the point with Lisa Rinna. When Lisa Rinna went after Kim at that dinner table on season 4, this is where Kim became one of my favorites. Mm-hmm. All Kim was doing was defending herself because it was wrong of her, Lisa Rinna, to bring that shit up at the dinner. It was wrong for her to even do that. So Kim said, you know what? Fuck it. Y'all already feel this way about me. Why not let me go forward? And then there you go saying, I can't defend your behavior right now. You think your behavior is defendable? It wasn't about her behavior being defendable. It's about you telling your friend across the table, hey, wrong road, boundaries. Let's keep this
Yeah.
going.
Yeah.
Fast forward now 7 years later. Here comes another situation where Lisa Rinna is coming after another one of your sisters, doing the exact same shit. And there you are again, staying mute, not saying something, and they want to get on your sister about her behavior. It was like, ma'am,
Yeah.
correct your sister in private, but tell Lisa Rinna, you stepping outside of bounds, ma'am. Boundaries. This is my sister.
Even season 1, the scene you always speak about in that limousine, Adrian was the one that was telling Kyle and trying to like, no, that's your sister. Cause she was like, what the hell?
I remember that. Yeah.
Well, it's like Kyle is just not loyal to anybody, but what
she's just
serves
a
her.
pretentious asshole. And it's like, I am sick of her. Like, that's what I'm saying. Bravo in the call center. I don't know why y'all keep this lady on this show. I don't care about an allegiance to a, season 1 housewife history, whatever the fuck y'all want to call this. I don't care about that. That's irrelevant. Things evolve, things move on. That's life. We don't need to see Kyle anymore.
We don't. I'm tired of Kyle. I really need her to go. And that was actually in the note to end my final comment for that whole dinner party. Why? I'm tired of seeing Kyle, and now we're seeing with how she's handling her split and upcoming divorce with Mauricio that everything that people have had an issue with, she's not going to share what's really going on. She's just going to keep showing herself on TV. And honestly, Kyle, no shade. I respect you not drinking, but you might want to act like you're drunk and drop a split or something, because that was a lot more interested than you in these friendships being a disloyal heifer. So moving on, because it looked like James giving me that she not watching her mouth face. We did see Kyle run over, because now she's just taking her exercise to do shit to make it look normal. So we know it's for the camera, because all we see is you running around with this Morgan chick or at premieres. I don't know when you're working out, but okay, Kyle. She runs over to Anne-Marie's house for a pickleball. They speak about Sutton and the dinner, and I want Anne-Marie to shut the fuck up and put the cigarette out, because you just got here and you don't need to have so heavy of an opinion, like to where you're inserting yourself into things. They do end up questioning Sutton's esophagus, and Anne-Marie is a nurse anesthesiology nurse. That's the best I can do with pronunciation right now. Okay, shit. So she is not a doctor. Nurses know a lot, but she is a nurse for the anesthesiologist. So she's saying all these things that she understands and whatnot about the throat, about her tongue, and what condition she thinks it is. And this is the difference between nurses and doctors, because what she thinks is wrong with Sutton, probably not wrong with Sutton. If you're not a doctor, then unless you're the advice nurse on the back of the insurance card that we call to know if we need to go to the hospital or not, we don't want to hear anything from you, especially if you're just the anesthesiologist. All you deal with is putting people to sleep. The doctors are the one, ENT, ear, nose, throat doctors are the ones who would handle something like that, or a gastrointestinal doctor and or a surgeon would handle that. I've had a surgery for what Sutton complains about for her esophagus. It's called a Nissan fundoplication, and it is something that is performed by someone who is not the nurse or the anesthesiologist. It is generally performed by a cardiothoracic surgeon, because they handle also the chest, or an ear, nose, throat doctor, depending on the severity. So I don't understand why Anne-Marie is doing that, but Black excellence, yay, because I like that she's Black and working in healthcare, which is important. So I will give her that. But so far, I'm not liking Anne-Marie. So now I'm going to get James's take on that scene and his opinion so far of our new housewife.
My opinion of the new housewife is disappointing. Unfortunately, I think that you really should have played a neutral part in this conversation, because as much as you don't know Sutton, you also don't know the lady whose your tongue is up her asshole right now.
You know, that's the wrong person.
You don't know her either. So what you should have done, which I would have expected you to do, being that you are African American, is that I would have expected you to sit back, shut up, and
And listen.
watch.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because what you just did was so tasteless and so just reckless. As someone who is joining this show, it makes me not want to even give you a fucking chance. Because that was ridiculous what you just said and what you just did in this scene with her.
Mm.
Because let
Well,
me tell you something. No, I ain't, hold on. Let me tell you something. Because in the moment of time, that lady gonna turn on your ass so quick you wouldn't even know it would hit you. And you better hope your tongue don't get stuck in that motherfucking ass. Because I promise you, she gonna turn and switch on you, and you gonna fly just like the rest of them birds.
or people are really genuinely sick of Kyle. Like, even her own fans feel like it's time for her to leave the show. A lot of bitches come on the Housewives. These new bitches come on and they say, "Oh, she's been on TV the longest, or you're the most popular. I'm going to align with this person and kiss their ass." And I feel like that's what Anne-Marie was doing. But Kyle is not the person to do that with. I really think and hope and pray that she will be gone. Probably not next season, but in a few seasons, I think she'll figure out that we're just done with her. And
And Anne-Marie, let me explain something. And Bravo, I know y'all did this shit on purpose. I already know. Because y'all didn't want her to go over there on Garcelle's side, which feels like it's about to happen anyway, based on what Garcelle said. I don't know why y'all just didn't make her be Garcelle's friend. Y'all know how this housewife shit works. They always talk about, oh, this is my friend from a while back, but Kyle was honest and said, this is my new friend.
because NBC is such a fucking racist, racially biased
Yeah, they
fucking
don't want.
network, and this is a fact. And I know I have Caucasian people, Asian people, people of all diversities watching my channel. I love everybody equally, but Bravo preferences the Caucasian people. It's just a fact. It's been that way.
Uh-oh.
Did not have any color to the cast, not Asian, not African American, not Native American, not nothing. Okay, so I feel like they tried to have Anne-Marie brought on as other people's friends, but it just feels like just because Garcelle is black, you can let her bring a black friend on the show, y'all. Y'all don't have to go around it and do all this extra shit. Anywho, moving it along. At the same time, Kyle is at Anne-Marie's house and all of that good stuff. Denise, Crystal, Garcelle, and Sutton meet up. And I was just thinking, if they stick together, they could really ice out Kyle and her minion Mean Girls. They could become fan favorites and get Kyle out. Or if Kyle stays, they could change the dynamic of the show so that Doris and Kyle and Erica's, they're not going to get their tails licked no more. Quite literally, if they play it right. And they're all entertaining too and have storylines individually. Moving it along.
Most of them have storylines.
Who do you think don't?
Crystal.
Oh yeah, Crystal is, yeah. Her brother has a storyline. We've talked about that in the previous
video. I was like, Crystal ain't got no damn storyline.
Crystal at this point, it's just there. I like Crystal just because she speaks when it's necessary in terms of defending her friends. But other than that, I don't
like her. Like, I enjoyed the scene last episode when she was in the kitchen with Dorit and Kyle, and how she was just rolling her eyes and shaking her head versus laughing and giggling with them.
Mm-hmm.
That right there actually made me redeem Crystal in my mind and actually put her back in my top with Garcelle and Sutton, because it was like, okay, you do have loyalty to Sutton. And y'all, her and Sutton hang out a lot outside of this show. They hang out a lot. They at the Dodgers game. She took her, Crystal took Sutton to a Taylor Swift concert with her. They hang out a lot. So a lot of people didn't want them to be friends, but I'm actually glad they, broke the chain and actually decided to be friends and actually be close friends. So I want them to keep that up. I really do. So that's what I'm gonna say about it.
He's knocking on my window. Anywho, next thing we see, and I agree with everything you said. I'm liking that Crystal's finding her footing. I just hope she stays with it because she's a little up and down with her, how she can be. But they discuss Sutton's neuropathy, which is painful, and it is common in older people, usually over 40, and it's like pain in your pain is that's the best way I can explain it for those who aren't educated. Google it if you want to. I don't feel like going into that right now, but she has neuropathy, and that would make sense as to why she has medications for things, sometimes does not eat, things like that. I had a coworker who did that. Shout out to you, Paul Adams. We love him, Georgia boy. But he's older, 60 something. He has neuropathy really bad in his hands, and it was a job I was at driving. So sometimes he would have to like pull over on the freeway and stop, or I'd have to drive for him. I'd have to help him open stuff, or like he had to get like a special kind of fork and spoon set that's like for people who have it, and it just makes it so that it's easier to pick up food and stuff like that. So it sounds like Sutton has some health issues that are common for people of her age. We have to remember these women are not young. I will just say that. And it's interesting to arguing about issues like that. But Crystal does check Sutton and said that, listen, what you said to Kyle was a low blow. And I appreciate her for that because she defends her, but she held her accountable. And that's a fucking real friendship. If I ain't never seen one. You have to hold your people accountable. You just do. And honestly, that's really all we saw. But Kyle is not used to having people to hold her accountable. And the cast has gone from a bunch of bougie women who didn't want to rock the boat too much to a bunch of women who Kyle's ass because she was new at one time. And now Kyle is in the timeline where these new women joining the show are going to hold you accountable, and they're not all going to kiss your ass. So far, it's just Anne-Marie. Moving it along, Doris and PK. I know for a fact that these convenient robberies that Doris and PK experience, and like, it's because he's always available to film and talk shit like another housewife with the ladies when he could be, across the country handling a business deal. It seems like since Lisa Vanderpump stopped fucking with PK, though, I noticed this like seasons ago. Since Lisa Vanderpump ended her relationship with PK and Dorit, it seems like he has struggled individually with his business and stuff. So I don't know what the hell he has going on, but anything he's done without the Vanderpumps and Todds, it seems like he has issues with business. But they talk about Kyle's whole situation at the dinner, and Doris goes, well, the thing that Sutton has to understand is it's Kyle's story to tell, not anyone else's. Is this the same Doris that was demanding and talking shit about Erica's story? It shouldn't that have been for her to tell, or Lisa, Teddy? God, the list could go on. Eileen at one point. I can't stand Dorit. I really can't stand Dorit. Doris is terrible. She's terrible. Why are you? Your husband doesn't give a damn either about any of this, but he might. But then we hear her and PK talk about homeschooling. And this is where the bullshit comes. I'm not going to be nice. This is your warning right now to anybody who is a Dorit or PK fan. I'm probably about to hurt your fucking feelings. This witch is still crying about this fucking robbery after having therapy, going to see a hypnotherapist, all types of stuff. I understand you don't just get over stuff like that quickly. I have been robbed, like out in public in San Francisco, and it was the scariest thing I've ever been through. So I understand that that's not something you get over quickly. But this lady was robbed, left safe, had insurance that covered most of it. Then it happened again. I just don't feel entirely. I feel like she needs to stop. So she says she wants to homeschool her kids. She doesn't want them in public or private school, which for some kids that does work. Nothing's wrong with that. But PK prefer the kids to be, it sounded like he said a public school. So what I'm thinking from that conversation, Dorit is trying to bullshit and say, she's not uncomfortable. PK is trying to act like she's irrational, with her fears and things like that, alluding it to it being the home invasion. But personally, y'all, they are separated right now in real time, and they have been having financial issues for years publicly. I think that they cannot afford private school, especially the private schools in California. Okay. I think they cannot afford the private schools. And so that is her reason for wanting to homeschool those kids. And I feel like they needed something to talk about because, mind you, before Brenna and them came, I believe Dorit wasn't supposed to come back for a season after that Erica Girardi shit dropped. She wasn't even supposed to come back. They only offered that to her after Scandal happened to keep the cast, the same and to keep Erica. I don't think they can afford private school. That's just my personal thing. I also don't see anything wrong with homeschooling your kids. And for those who are like, wait, but they're paying for teachers to come to the house. That's cheaper than private school in California. Yeah. I went to private school from elementary school all the way up until high school. It is expensive as hell. Just for me by myself in the Bay Area, my parents were paying $600 a month. So, and that was just for the tuition for the school. Then you got to buy a bunch of other shit. So I don't think that Doris and PK can afford that. And they're in Beverly Hills. So the schools down there are going to cost even more because the kid's going to be running around with celebrity children. So look, James is just agreeing. I don't trust it.
Because I know what you're talking about. I also went to private school. I didn't go as long as you did. But that shit is expensive in California. It is crazy expensive. And the problem with this is that $10,000 in cash that you supposedly had got out the bank to buy toys for your kids could have went to that private school cost. Just saying. If that really happened.
Here's my thing. If you are truly concerned for your kids and struggling with the home invasion, why didn't you move? 1. And then 2, if you're truly still struggling from this home invasion, why would you want to keep your kids in the home? Wouldn't you want them away from it in a private school, locked up and safe? But the kids look happy. Her kids are really cute too, by the way. They're really, really cute. But I just don't like their mama or their daddy. It's unfortunate. But the kids seem really cute. They seem like they're learning a lot. Bravo. I'm coming for your call center now. I'd like to address y'all. And I'm coming for the call center manager because we didn't need this scene. We did not need this scene. You all need to make Dorit a friend of, because obviously she's close with Kyle and all of that. If Kyle stays, make Dorit a friend of. But Dorit, you need to go. You have no storyline. Nothing is interesting. You got separated, but your separation was more of a surprise to us than Kyle and Mauricio shit. So it's kind of like, and she's not.
It was a surprise. It was more of a surprise.
The reason I say that is because on the show, like, they have their issues and shit, but I felt like they weren't going to leave each other because of the finances. So we saw it coming to some extent, yes. But I feel like she hasn't talked about the issues in her marriage as much as she could.
Because the issues in her marriage would make her seem like she was been faking it the entire time.
That's why she hasn't that's talked okay.
About it. And that's what we're saying. I don't believe that Doris is into that man or Doris loved that man no more than I believe Qua was into Dr. G. I don't believe it. I do not believe that. And I'm sorry, y'all can say what y'all want. That shit looked like, oh my God, I have a come up. Yes, let me take advantage of it. That's what that shit looks like to me.
Yeah, Doris, what happened to Beverly Beach? Where's that?
Okay, now she took it somewhere else.
No, because she used to what Dorit has always sucked on the show. Honestly, we were more interested in PK because they were introduced as friends of Lisa Vanderpump. But Dorit didn't have shit going on. She had to remind us that she was a fashion designer before she met PK. So she had accolades. But it seems like every time she tries to start a business, it ends and then she stops filming it. And then when she's not doing business and showing herself as a boss on TV, she's messy and causing problems. I also think that she throws a lot of microaggressions and is a liability. The more people of color you add on this show, not everybody's going to be calm and quiet like Garcelle. Some of us believe in, fighting back. But sorry. I get where Garcelle's coming from, though. Being the first and only cast member of color, you don't want to do too much because they'll automatically assume you're aggressive, but then you don't want to do too little. It's a hard place to be. So I give her a pass with that. But listen. So the next thing we see is, and outside of that dinner, there's nothing really happening in this episode. We see Erica meet with Mikey, something else we don't care to see. But I know Bravo has, I believe they have a spinoff for Erica and her Vegas residency in the works being filmed. I don't know who's going to watch it, but you know, she's got the scandal, so I know somebody.
It's giving Kim Zolciak tardy for the party. We trying to make sure Erica has substantial income throughout the entire year, or she's going to quit the show.
Yeah, pretty much. I feel like he's probably right with that. Yeah. But they discuss her residency. Erica, I'm gonna tell you this. I don't have no issue with you singing and dancing and doing your little boom pop pop doo wop pop, as Tamar would say. My thing, I want to hear you sing a cappella, baby. Now, when Nicki Minaj hosted the Housewives of Potomac reunion a few seasons ago, she made Candace sing a cappella as if the girl couldn't sing and she thought she was going to embarrass her and didn't. Can we get that for Erica? Can we get, like, since Kyle's friends with a country singer, even though she can't sing really either, but can we get, like, Morgan Wade to, like, be like, hey, Erica, sing us something, a cappella. When Erica can sing me something a cappella, I will take her seriously as an artist.
Please, I don't want to even hear anything a cappella after that Christmas sing-along. That Christmas sing-along that she did after she did that shit, I was like, okay. I'm good. I'm telling you, if she didn't sound like the late B. Arthur and Robin Williams mixed together, I promise you, terrible.
I cannot with you, James. I cannot with him. Moving it along. We did see, this is the last scene of this recap. I appreciate the people who have been here watching. I appreciate you. I don't know who you are, but I appreciate you. Kyle, Doris, and Kim meet up. I was happy to see Kim. She looks healthy. She looks like she's doing okay. But as someone trained in psychology, I'm always a little worried about Kim. It's always something that's said
honestly,
that I hear that's not normal. And I'm just like,
honestly, I'm not as worried about her now as I would have been when she made her appearance. It was the last season, I believe she made an appearance. I believe it was last season she made an appearance. I was worried about her then because she looked like, oh, wow. Like it was something going on. But now she actually looks good. She, seems healthier. She seems like mentally she's in a great place. So, yeah, it was, Kim is one of my favorites. When she got Lisa Rinna together at that table, I said, yep, there it is. That's my girl.
And then the bear, she said, I'm not accepting your gift, bitch. Hell no. Right? Listen, Kim, for those who don't know, Kyle has done Kim so dirty so many times on this fucking show. Kim is the walking proof that Kyle lacks loyalty. It just is. I have siblings too. I get it. Sometimes siblings get on your nerves. You argue, stuff happens, but like, come on. But they speak about Paris. Kyle did not know that Paris Hilton was, having a baby. Well, she used a surrogate, but Kyle had no clue. She said she found out about the new baby via Instagram. And that's when I was like, oh, this shit runs really deep. Because it's not just the matter of her finding out about stuff separately. It's the fact that nieces and nephews, like none of Kim's kids said nothing to Kyle. Nobody deals with Kyle. And I think there's a reason for that.
There's a reason for it, I believe. But I think that honestly, even in the dynamic, like if my mom and my aunts weren't like, on the best of terms, that still didn't change the dynamic between us. So I really feel like the mom raised them to be separate but equal. Mm-hmm. I really believe that that's what that mom did. Like, because there's no way I feel like, because their nieces and nephews are all grown. Well, most of them. Kyle's kids are still, in the house. But like Kim's kids are grown. Mm-hmm. Kathy's kids are grown. So I feel like there should be no reason to why none of these kids should have a relationship with their aunt. Regardless, because y'all weren't there to see it. Mm-hmm. So it was like, even though some of it panned out on TV, there was a lot of it that was not.
I think what's happening is what you're saying. Listen, Big Kathy, Google Big Kathy. That is Kyle and Kim's mom. nothing positive you will find unless it's from her kids. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. What I will say is, as someone who does distance myself from certain family members, because I know that just dealing with them will be like something's gonna that. Like I get that, and I feel like that may be what they're doing with Kyle. Of everyone in the family, Kyle seems to be the most attention seeking and the most media hungry. I think that that's impacting her marriage, her life, her relationships, all of that. It was nice to see Kim, but I'm going to say this. I know some people will be like, no, because I know there's people who love Kathy Hilton, Kyle, Kim Richards, and Kyle. I think this family needs to leave television for a while. Well, Kyle, because no one else in the family is really like heavily in the media. Paris had her little show, but she's always had her show, and she doesn't fully include family in her show. But I feel like the family as a whole needs to take a break from media and go heal. Kyle, if you really care about your family, then leave the show. They have multiple times and comes back. I'm sure if you leave the show on your own, Kyle, you'll be able to come back whenever you want. Leave the show, figure out your family, then come back a few years later.
Or what they could do is swap Kyle out for Kathy.
Yeah. But I feel like when they have people of too much money or too rich, they'll leave whenever the hell they feel like it and may never come back. So,
well, Kathy was on Watch What Happens Live, and she said that she would definitely come back. She has no problem with that. They just have not offered her anything to come back. So that's what she said. So I was like, well, then shit, replace your sister. Because I would love to see Kathy in charge of the girls. I think Kathy would do an amazing job. So,
well, if it means Kyle's gone, I'm with it. But that is my recap, you guys, of the Housewives of Beverly Hills season 13, episode 7. Overall, it was all right. I could tell this was going to be a long season, but Beverly Hills and New Jersey and Potomac, these are shows for me of the Housewives franchise that, like, it could be 10 episodes and it'll feel like I've watched 40. Like, sometimes it can be a bit draining, but we will see what is to come. We'll be back here again next Thursday to go over the next episode that is going to air. I will have my song review tonight for those who like music. For those interested in recaps, my next recap will be on Saturday for Life After Lockup. But I appreciate everybody for tuning in. James, I appreciate you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I've got to go grocery shopping, so adios.
All right. See you guys. Thank you for having me.